Where are we right now in deliberations entering week 9 of his first year with Ben Johnson, Daniel?
I would say we're trending positively.
Okay.
As someone who had a big grade on him, going through the draft process, I was hoping he'd be a little bit, further along in the advancement where you'd see some, a little bit more of the good stuff, a little less of the bad stuff. But, it's getting better. You can see the frustration on when you're watching the TV copy. You hit pan to the sideline. You can see Ben Johnson because he's got some things dialed up, and there's some opportunities that he just hasn't been able to hit. So I think there is some frustration there, just watching the TV side of things. But I still go back to last year in a game, Rich, you could pull out 6 plays and you could get really excited about these 6 throws from Caleb Williams. And this year, game by game, you can probably pull out 10 or 11 of those plays. So it's getting better. It's not where it's going to be. It's not where it necessarily needs to be right now, but I think it is trending positively. It's just hard when you look up and you see what Drake May's doing and the fact that Jaden Daniels has already been in a conference championship game. That's kind of who he's going to be compared to, for better or worse.
Well, I mean, what are you seeing then? What is the issue? Do you think it's a processing? Is it an awareness issue? What do you think it is? Those are just two things I'm throwing out there, Daniel.
Quite simply, it's just some ball placement stuff. I mean, he's seeing it, and it's some misses down the field when you've got opportunities. Some of it's just deep ball stuff where he's got to understand where the leverage of the defense is and give his guy a chance to make a play on a ball.
Caleb, in my opinion, is never going to be an consistently accurate thrower of the football in this league. Am I too harsh?
No. Well, and if he's not going to work with Ben Johnson. I mean, the thing that hit me today, and let's face it, the elephant in the room now for several weeks, he has not played well. Their team has. The running back has played well, and the defense has played well. The quarterback has not. Ben Johnson became a star in the league with Jared Goff, who excelled with a couple things: timing and touch. Getting rid of the ball and hitting guys so they could make moves after. How many times a day with Caleb, guys in the flat, even on completions, they have to stop and catch a ball? You can't function. You saw Bo Nix. Obviously, the Cowboys' defense is atrocious. You're going to hit or miss, and he's missing a lot of deep balls. But if you hit the basic stuff in the flat, some basic out routes, any offense can function, right? The NFL is not high school football. It's not these huge explosive plays are pretty overrated. Caleb hit one today, scrambling around and threw it over the side to
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. I mean, that's just an individual play, as spectacular of a play as you're going to see. Bad Sunday, but still. I mean, it was remarkable. That's not the NFL. The NFL is like 2nd and 8. Can you just complete that 6-yarder so you're 3rd and 2 instead of 3rd and 8? And Caleb simply cannot. Timing and touch, Colin, terrible. There's no rhythm to his game. To me, it's like the struggle between, it's like watching a pitcher who has no changeup or off speed, but his fastball's all over the map.
I'm a believer in Caleb Williams, as long as Ben Johnson believes in him. And here's the thing, I'm not going to operate with the preconceived notion or perception that Caleb Williams has to be a transcendent talent in order for the Chicago Bears to get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
He just has to operate the offense. He just has to make the open throws that are there for him. And what I thought was telling, and quite frankly, a little bit jarring, was the difference in opinions or perspectives when it comes to the interception that he threw in the fourth quarter at M&T Bank Stadium.
Okay.
Where his coach said that there was another option available to him that he should have taken, the running back that was in the flat. And Caleb Williams saying, no, that was the right play. It was just a better play by Nate Wiggins, the corner. When the play caller and the quarterback are not seeing the game the same way, that is problematic.
You take money, right? Like when you got profit, you don't leave it there. That profit was the back coming out of the backfield. You throw that ball, he goes and gets you a first down, you move the chains. It doesn't always have to be the ball past the spot.
I saw him in college. He creates his own chaos sometimes.
Yeah.
Is it time to worry about Caleb Williams, or is this just a Bears organizational issue at the quarterback position?
No. This is Caleb Williams' fault.
Wow.
It's long time to worry about Caleb Williams. If you look at Caleb Williams on the season, I believe he has 7 passing touchdowns on the season.
Yeah.
He's missing wide open receivers. If y'all go back and rewatch the game, DJ Moore is sitting wide open in the back of the end zone, and Caleb Williams just can't find him. Ben Johnson's irate on the sideline trying to figure out what the hell are we doing here? Remember, Ben Johnson helped turn Jared Goff into a perennial Pro Bowl attender. This is no longer a Bears issue. Just now a Caleb Williams issue. I mean, we're sitting at the season with, 9 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
That don't count. Four of them were against the Cowboys. It don't. Cowboys. Hey, stats against the Cowboys shouldn't count.
I mean, I think he's the weaker part of the offense. Solid wide receivers, got solid offensive line, got a really good running back. Yeah, I mean, he's got to play better. But I will say this though, they're winning football games, so. Yeah. I mean, I can't keep doing this with him. Yeah, he got to play better. He got to play better. You got to play better. It's simple as that. You got to play better.
I truly can't believe how bad it still is.
Why don't judge him like that? I feel bad for him.
I don't know. Yeah, you like Caleb. I can't believe how bad it still is because, bro, this division is almost for the taking a little bit.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? Like,
so what was your takeaway from Bears Ravens?
They need to be better at quarterback. I mean, I think like we saw really where the formula was the week before, and what they did to the Saints and being able to shut down their running game, and they ran for, what was it, like 230 yards?
Yep.
And, I just think so much of it right now hinges on their ability to do everything else well. And I think, like, the reality of it is, and, this is something that sometimes you learn when a guy comes to the pros. Caleb Williams was more raw than people gave him, than people wanted to think, maybe myself included. And, I think there's like a lot of stuff he had to learn coming to the pros. And, I think so much of it is just learning how to play the quarterback position. And that sounds simple, but there's really a lot to it. And, I think that's why, there was such a process, and you guys remember this, over the month of training camp, before you get into the real season prep, where they were trying to figure out what he can do well and what he can't do well and what he's ready to handle. And that's why it looked bad. And I don't think Ben cared that it looked bad in the summer. I think he really felt like, he needed to go through a process of making Caleb drink through a fire hose. And then, as you get closer to the season, you scale it back to what you think he can do well. But, clearly he's an uber talented kid. I think he's a smart guy too. I think he's got all of that. And a lot of this comes back to what he's been asked to do and what he was asked to do as a college player. Now what he's being asked to do as a pro. And we'll see where it goes from here. It's a very different challenge for Ben than, coaching Jared Goff was, who, by the time, he got around Jared Goff was in his, I believe, his sixth year as a pro. So it's a much different challenge coaching a player at this stage than what Ben was dealing with in Detroit.
I think that Caleb doing the ordinary and operating on time and that sort of thing, like he is getting better. I shared the numbers on Twitter the other day. Last year he took 68 sacks in 17 games, and he was sacked on nearly 11% of his dropbacks. It's preposterous. It was worse than the NFL across the board. This year he's been sacked 12 times in 7 games, and he's being sacked on about 5% of his dropbacks. Now, that doesn't tell the whole story. Obviously, Dahlman and Tooney and the upgrades on the offensive line are a part of it. Ben Johnson is a part of it. There were intentional groundings that don't count as sacks, right? Like Caleb, the throw to Roma Dunze, I didn't love that Caleb defended it initially because it was clearly late. He patted the ball, he held it too long, and Monangai was open in the flat. Like Caleb flatly wasn't good enough. But I do still think that Caleb is, generally speaking, trending in the right direction. And if you can just look at that in a vacuum, that's good. Like that is just like good. Period. Full stop. Next paragraph. The problem with this is that, at least how I do it, and I think how you guys do it too, but like when I was on the Score, sometimes it felt like we were talking to Bears fans, and we underestimated how many Bears fans just watch Bears games, because it makes total sense. Like you go on living your life. But now, like I literally, and I would do it with First and Pod and because gambling in the NFL, and now because of my job, like literally watch every NFL game, every Monday night game, every Thursday night game, 11 hours on Sunday. And it's impossible not to compare Caleb. And Drake May is third for MVP right now. having the best deep ball throwing season through 7 games in NFL history, through 8 games in NFL history, and he's got Booty and Stephon Diggs out there. Like, it's not exactly Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Jaden Daniels was in the NFC Championship game last year. Bo Nix has more touchdowns than anyone in that class and was in the playoffs last year. Like, Caleb in a vacuum is, I think, in a totally reasonable place to still have a ton of optimism for what he can be as a second-year player who has made 25 career starts. But when you compare him to the other guys, that's where I think it starts to get a little frustrating.
You guys know this by now, that these evaluations get clouded by the end team results sometimes. And so it felt so much more discouraging that the Bears had this big missed opportunity in Baltimore on Sunday, and it left you going to bed Sunday night being like, man, that just wasn't it. But the quarterback didn't play any better and was probably a little bit worse in the home win against the Saints. And so you kind of have to take away the team result and see it through clear eyes. And I was actually surprised when I went back Monday and watched Caleb on the video and just felt like there was more positive moments in the game against Baltimore than there had been the previous couple weeks. Now, some of the mistakes were huge, and obviously we know the interception was game-changing, and I think we can all agree as we sit here on October 29th that the quarterback has to be a lot better if this team has any chance of going where it wants to go, and right now it's just been too uneven, and there hasn't been enough of a significant breakthrough in key areas from Caleb. I've just been surprised here in town this week at how knee-jerk the fan reaction has been to everything, and how just sort of urgent it is. I think we all realized that this chemistry with Ben was going to take time to develop, and we had to give it time to develop. And so you're entering a stretch here in November where you play 5 different types of games against 5 opponents that are going to challenge you in different ways. And I would just like to put out a rule to the world out there that we just hold this November evaluation until we get to the Saturday of Thanksgiving week, and we've got this sample size of 5 November games that we can look at and compare it to what we saw in October and September and sort of feel the growth out that way, rather than riding this week-to-week roller coaster where it's like, there's a win and everybody's, ecstatic, and then there's a loss and everybody wants to jump off the side of the building.
It hasn't been all that bad. Like, you go back and look at the numbers from this past week, certainly it doesn't pass the eye test, but he did have his second highest total QBR of the season last week. Like, it wasn't like he was awful out there. Were there moments that, you look at the offense and you're like, damn, that's can't throw an interception right there, can't take a false start right there, cannot have multiple intentional grounding calls. And I think some of the excuses that come out, like, I do not ever want to hear we're not on the same page, or we've got, like, get another book. I'm so tired of that excuse, because it just sounds like a broken record, and it sounds like a cop-out. Like, I know I'm not the only one who feels that way, but I think it's those sorts of things, and when you're not seeing fixes to that, which is where the criticism for the quarterback comes from.